Hello, my friends. I am thankful you are back with me for the Morning Mindset. If you are new to the Morning Mindset, welcome. I pray that this will be a great blessing to you as you persevere in your faith and choose to walk in obedience to Jesus Christ. Today, we have a passage that is quite confusing. Just to be honest, there are a lot of things in here that we think we can understand and know what they mean, and other parts that just leave us wondering if we've got it entirely right. And the passage I'm speaking of is in 1 Peter chapter 3, particularly verses 19 and 20. But we're going to read a little bit of context to figure out exactly what it is that we're dealing with as we get into this. Now, in this section, Peter has been telling us that we as believers in Christ are to live in such a way that our behavior demonstrates Jesus to the world around us. And he's saying sometimes that's going to happen through suffering. You see, the way we respond to suffering will show Jesus because he suffered as well. And that's the point Peter makes in verse 18, that Jesus suffered once for sin, and he did so as a righteous man, the righteous, holy Son of God. And he did so in a self-sacrificial way, suffering in our place so that he could bring us to God. See, that's the greater context, and we have to have that in mind as we continue on. It says he was put to death in the flesh, so he was killed, but made alive in the spirit. And then verse 19 is where it starts to get a little bit confusing. It says, in which, so it's referring back to the spirit, being made alive in the spirit, in which he went and proclaimed to the spirits in prison, because they formerly did not obey, when God's patience waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is 8 persons, were brought safely through water. Okay, so stop for a second and let's get this in our head straight. Okay, it's saying Jesus died in the flesh and he was made alive in the spirit. And then it says, in the spirit, he went and proclaimed to spirits in prison, who formerly didn't obey, back in the days of Noah, is what it sounds like, while the ark was being prepared. Now, what in the world is this talking about? Well, it's telling us about something that happened behind the scenes when Jesus died on the cross and he was placed in the grave and he was made alive again in the spirit. And it's saying somewhere in there, Jesus went. Where he went, we don't know. But it says he went and he preached to those spirits in prison. You see, it's very clear. He's speaking to spirits. And it says, they formerly did not obey when God's patience waited in the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared. Now, it sounds like Jesus, having finished the work of redemption on the cross, and having been made alive in the spirit and about to resurrect from the grave, went somewhere to preach to the spirits, it sounds like, of people who disobeyed back in the days of Noah. Now, let's refresh ourselves on the story of Noah. Noah was a righteous man back in the Old Testament days, way before the time of Moses, way before the time of David. And God was determined to destroy the world because of the evil in it. And he called Noah to build an ark, a large wooden vessel, through which he would save not only his family, that's the 8 people that it's referring to, but also 2 of every kind of animal. And that's more than just a children's nursery story or something like that. This is a real person and a real event that happened many, many years ago. Now, what Peter is telling us is that some of the people who were mocking Noah, who were not believing his message about the flood that was about to come, and it seems like Peter is saying that when Jesus died and was made alive in the Spirit, he went and preached the gospel to those people. And what I love about this is it shows me that nothing is too difficult for our God. There's no quandary, no conundrum, no problem that arises that we have questions about that he cannot solve. Let's talk a little bit more about this tomorrow on The Morning Mindset.